Good morning, students. Today is marvelous Monday, 17th August 2020. And let's begin our English lesson. Alright, children, today we're going to learn about transitive and intransitive verbs. Right? Transitive and intransitive verbs. But before starting that, let's revise what is SVO. In our previous lessons, we learnt about SVO, that is subject, verb and object. Let me show you this one flashcard. You see subject, verb and object. This is what we call SVO. Subject is a person who is a performer of some action, and verb is a doing word in a sentence that we call verb, and object is a thing on which some action has been performed, or you can say that an object is something that receives some action from the subject, right? Subject is a person who performs some action on the object, right? So object is a thing. It can be a person, it can be a thing, right? So object is something that receives the action by the subject, right? So this is the object of a thing, object of a sentence. He paints poster. He is the subject because he is performer of the action. And what is the verb? What is the action? Paints. Paints is the action. And what is that thing on which the action has been done? The action has been done on posters. So you can say that posters are, the receiver of this action. And who is the performer of this action? Subject, he, right? So this is the object in a sentence. Now let's move towards transitive and intransitive verb. Alright, children, for this one I would like to show you another flashcard. I hope it will help you to understand efficiently. Alright, now you understand that each sentence has SVO, right? But in some cases, the verb in the sentence does not have object, right? So we can say that the verbs which have object are called transitive verb, and the verbs which do not have any object, those are called intransitive verb, right? Now, let me make it easy for you by taking some examples. First example is she ate a hot dog. She is written with red, so this is the subject, and subject is the performer of some action. And what is the verb? What is the action? Ate. It is the past verb of eat. Eat, ate, eaten. So ate is the verb, and a hot dog is a direct object. So object is a thing which receives action from the subject, right? Subject, she has done some work on this one object. So you can say that the verb ate is the transitive verb. Why? Because this verb has some object, right? So if the verb has some object, that verb is called transitive verb. वो वर्ब जिसके पास कोई ऑब्जेक्ट होगा, वो वर्ब जो है वो क्या कहलाएगा? That is called transitive verb, right? So transitive verb वो वर्ब है जिसके पास ऑब्जेक्ट है, and intransitive verb वो वर्ब है जिसके पास ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं है. Transitive, we add a prefix in before transitive, so it makes it negative, right? Transitive वो जिसके पास object है, and intransitive वो verb है जिसके पास object नहीं है, right? So you see, she ate a hot dog. Ate is the verb, and it has an object, and this verb has an object, that is hot dog. So we can say that ate is transitive verb, right? Alright, now let's read some more examples to understand this concept of transitive and intransitive verb. The shelf holds the books. So holds is the verb, right? And now let's find out, is there any object in this sentence? Yes, books. Because books, the shelf holds the books. Books is the object. So we can say that the hold is a transitive verb because this verb has some object, right? My sister cries loudly. What is the verb in this one sentence? Cries. Cries is the verb, right? My sister is the subject and there is no object. So this verb is intransitive because this sentence, you see, my sister cries loudly. This one sentence ends with an adverb. ये सेंटेंस एक एडवर्ब लाउडली के साथ एंड हो रहा है. यहाँ पे कोई ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं है कि सब्जेक्ट जो है माई सिस्टर उसने किस चीज़ पे एक्शन किया, उसने किस चीज़ पे काम किया. यहाँ पे कोई ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं है सब्जेक्ट से एक्शन रिसीव करने के लिए. सो दिस वर्ब क्राइज becomes intransitive verb because this verb has no object, right? Now, I watched. This sentence is almost incomplete, or you can say that it's not giving us complete sense because I watched. I is the subject, watched is the verb, but there is no object. So we can say that this verb watched is intransitive, right? And again, I watched circus. I is the subject, watched is the verb, and circus is the object, right? Circus is something that has received action from the subject I. So we can say that watched is transitive verb, right? Now let's take out textbook page number 45. Alright, textbook page number 45, you see. Please write down the date at the top of the page, Monday 17th August 2020. First, transitive verb. Let's take a closer look. Alright, you see this yellow box, right? Transitive verbs. Please highlight the definitions on your textbook, page number 45. Transitive verbs have an object, right? Transitive verbs have an object. An object is a thing, right? Object is a thing which receives some action from the subject. The boys played football. You see, football, the underlined word is the object. So we can say that the verb played is a transitive verb. Played एक transitive verb है because इसके पास एक object है जिसके ऊपर काम किया गया, right? हमें यहाँ पे verb को identify करना है whether the verb is transitive or intransitive. अगर verb के साथ object है, then the verb would be transitive. And if the verb have no object, then it will be considered intransitive verb. The girl painted a picture. This is another example. The girl painted a picture. Picture is the object, right? Picture is the object. So we can say that painted verb is the transitive verb. Now, highlighted in green is intransitive. Intransitive verb do not have an object. For example, the boy fell over. Fell is the verb, but there is no object. लेकिन कोई ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं है, कोई चीज़ नहीं है जिसके ऊपर सब्जेक्ट ने काम किया हो. The boy is the subject, right? The boy is the performer of the action, but there is no object. So fell is intransitive verb. The girl cried, right? The girl cried, but there is no object in the sentence. So cried is considered intransitive verb. Then many verbs can be both transitive and intransitive. The girl played card. Cards is the object, so here played is transitive verb. And the girl played. There is no object, so played will be considered intransitive verb. Alright, now let's practice more with transitive and intransitive verb, and let's see how can you identify transitive and intransitive verb. For this one, I would like you to open up your workbook. Alright children, workbook page number 29, you see. Objects, please write down the date at the top left corner of the page, Monday 17th August 2020. Objects. Transitive verbs have objects and intransitive verbs do not have objects. I would like you to highlight the definition. Alright, I hope you will follow the guidelines. Alright children, so if the verb has some object, it is transitive, and if the verbs do not have any object, then the verb will be considered intransitive. Let's read the statement. Underline the verbs in the following. Say whether the verb is transitive or intransitive. We are given with A, B, C, D, E. Examples. Asad read the paper with interest. Alright. Samir and Iqbal laughed loudly. Flowers of many kinds grow here. The gardener grows roses and violets. The Prime Minister picked up the telephone. Now, in sentence A, Asad read the paper with interest. Now, first of all, what we're going to do that, we will highlight or you will underline the verbs. Let's mark the verbs in the sentences. Asad read, right? Samir and Iqbal laughed loudly. Laughed is the verb. Flowers of many kinds grow here. The gardener grows roses and violets. The Prime Minister picked up the telephone. Alright, children. We have highlighted all of the verbs in the sentences. Now, what we're going to do next is we will find out the objects. And if the verbs have objects, it will be our transitive verbs. And if the verbs do not have objects, it will be considered intransitive. Alright. Asad read the paper with interest. Yes. Paper is the object, so read is transitive verb. क्योंकि असद क्या चीज़ पढ़ रहा था? असद is the subject, read is the verb, and the paper is the object. Paper is a thing which receives action from the subject Asad. Alright, children? B. Samir and Iqbal laughed loudly. Laughed is the verb, but this sentence ends with an adverb, loudly. So there is no object in sentence B. So we will write down intransitive. Laughed is intransitive verb, right? C. Flowers of many kinds grow here. Grow is the verb, but there is no object in this one sentence. Flowers of many kinds grow here. The gardener grows roses and violets. Gardener is the subject, grows verb, roses and violets. Roses and violets are the object. So instead of writing roses and violets, you can say that flowers are the object here. Roses and violets are the objects here. So grows is transitive verb, right? And then Prime Minister picked up the telephone. Picked up is the verb, Prime Minister is the subject, and the telephone is the object. So we can say that picked up is transitive verb because it has the object telephone. So picked up is transitive. Now let's review. Read, transitive. Laughed, intransitive. Grow, intransitive. Grows, transitive. Picked up, transitive. You see in sentence C, grow is intransitive because there is no object, and in D, grows is transitive verb because it has the object flowers. Alright, children, that's how you will complete your work in the workbook as well. Now it's time to look at the diary. Alright, today's diary is that you guys have to learn transitive and intransitive verbs, textbook page number 45, and write down with examples in notebook as homework. What you're gonna do that on page number 45 of your textbook. The definition of transitive verbs and intransitive verbs, you're supposed to write down the definitions in your notebook as homework, and you will write down the examples as well. So this is your homework. I hope you will complete your homework neatly and properly in your notebooks. Thank you very much. Look after yourself. Stay home, stay safe.